the screams behind the wall. The sun was low over the broken village. Wind blew dust through the empty streets. Kyle, a human traveler, walked slowly, feeling like he was being watched. This alien village, built from red stone and twisted metal, was strange and silent. Too silent. Kyle had come looking for fuel and food. But the people here avoided him. They spoke in whispers. Their eyes were full of fear. And there was one thing no one talked about. The wall at the edge of the village. It was made of dark rock, taller than a house. A strange mark was carved into it, something old and dangerous looking. And every night after the sun fell, he heard screams from behind that wall. Screams that didn't sound like animals. Screams that were full of pain. He asked a young alien boy once, "What's behind that wall?" The boy's eyes widened. He shook his head fast and ran. "Another time?" he asked the merchant. The alien spat on the ground and growled, "Stay away from that place, it is cursed. She deserves what she got." "She?" Kyle asked, but the merchant walked away. That night, the wind howled stronger. Kyle sat in his small tent trying to rest. But again, he heard it. A scream, then silence, then a soft, broken voice crying, "Please, please, help." Kyle stood. He couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed his flashlight and walked toward the wall. Every step made his heart beat harder. He knew he was breaking their rules. He didn't care. Behind the wall was a narrow path. The rocks were sharp and black, like they were burned. He followed the sound. His light caught something, a metal shackle on the ground. Then he saw her. She was chained to a post driven deep into the ground. Her skin was a pale blue, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Her clothes were torn. Her body was covered in bruises and dry blood. Her wrists were raw from the chains. And her eyes were half closed, barely alive. Kyle froze. He had seen war. He had seen death. But he had never seen someone punished like this. She opened one eye slowly. "Another one?" she whispered. "Did they send you to laugh at me too?" Kyle stepped closer. "No, I'm not from here, I'm human." She coughed, her body shaking. "Then leave, or they'll chain you too." Kyle knelt beside her. He pulled a small water pouch from his bag and lifted it to her lips. She hesitated, then drank. Her throat made a dry, painful sound. "What's your name?" Kyle asked. "Sira." "Why are you here? What did you do?" Her head dropped. "I tried to protect a child, one they wanted dead." Kyle didn't understand. "That's it?" She smiled weakly. "To them that was betrayal. I was a guard. I broke their law." Kyle looked at the rusted chains. They were old. The post was carved with symbols. This wasn't just punishment, it was a warning. "Why doesn't anyone help you?" he asked. She opened her eyes fully now. "Because they fear me. Because they think I'm cursed. And maybe I am." Kyle sat beside her. "I don't believe that." Sira turned her head slowly. "Why are you really here, human?" Kyle looked into her tired, broken eyes and said, "Because no one should die like this." A tear rolled down Sira's cheek. She didn't speak again. Kyle stayed there in silence, staring at the stars above. He knew he couldn't leave her, not like this. But what could he do? If he broke the chains, the whole village might come after him. If he left her, she would die. The wind blew again, colder this time. Sira whispered, "You should go. Before they hear us." Kyle stood slowly, but before he left, he placed a blanket over her shoulders. "I'll come back," he said. She didn't answer. But as he walked away, he heard her say something very softly. "Maybe you are not like the others after all." The truth they buried. The next morning, Kyle woke early. His sleep had been broken by thoughts of the chained woman, Sira. Her face, her broken voice, her words. I tried to protect a child. Kyle couldn't forget. He left his tent before the sun fully rose and slipped through the empty village. Everyone was still inside. He carried a small bag, water, soft food, and some healing gel from his medkit. He didn't know if she'd still be alive. As he reached the wall again, he stopped. Someone was there. An old alien man in a faded brown cloak stood staring at the dark stone wall. His hands were shaking. Kyle stayed still, hidden behind a broken pillar. The old man whispered something in the alien language. Then he turned, his glowing green eyes locking onto Kyle's. "You went to her, didn't you?" the man asked in a low voice. Kyle didn't lie. "Yes, she's dying." The man stepped closer, slow like a wounded animal. "Then leave her. Let her die. That is mercy." "Why?" Kyle asked. "She helped a child. That's not a crime." The old alien looked away. "Not a crime. A threat." Kyle frowned. "What do you mean?" She saw something. Something she was not supposed to see. Something about the elders, about what happened during the fire year. They called it a betrayal, but really it was fear. Kyle was quiet. The old man sighed. "She carries more than chains, human. She carries truth, and truth, in this village, can kill." With that, the man turned and vanished into the mist. Kyle stood frozen. What truth? What secret could scare them this much? He climbed behind the wall again. The ground was cold, the air still, and then a weak cough. Sira was still alive. Kyle ran to her, kneeling beside her. "I'm back." Her lips barely moved, but she whispered, "I know." He gave her water and gently rubbed the healing gel into the cuts on her arms. She winced but didn't stop him. "Who did this to you?" Kyle asked. "Really?" Sira's voice was hoarse. "The ones in power, the ones who lied to save themselves." "Lied about what?" She looked at him, and for the first time, there was fire in her eyes. "They said the humans destroyed our young. That's why we went to war, but I saw it. The fire, the screams, it wasn't humans, it was them, the elders, they used human weapons. And blamed you." Kyle's blood went cold. "That's why they punished you?" he asked. Sira nodded slowly. "I tried to speak out. They called it treason. I was a royal protector. I thought honor would protect me." She gave a bitter laugh. "But in the end, no one wanted truth. They only wanted peace, and even if it was built on lies." Kyle stared at her. "If this is true, then your blood carries the story. You saw it. That makes you dangerous." "That's why I'm still alive," she said quietly. "They want me to die, slowly. Forgotten." Kyle clenched his fists. "I won't let that happen." "You can't save me," she whispered. "I can try." Sira looked away, tears forming again. "Then be careful, human, because now, you know the truth too." Suddenly there was movement in the distance. Kyle turned. 2 alien guards were walking near the path. He ducked low. Sira tensed. "If they catch you here, they'll kill you." "2," she whispered. Kyle nodded. He grabbed her hand gently. "I'll come back at night." "Why?" she asked, confused. He smiled. "Because you're not dying like this." Then, as quiet as a shadow, Kyle disappeared behind the rocks. Sira stared after him, her heart pounding, not with fear but with something she thought she had lost. Hope. Eyes that still burn. The third night the moon was full. It hung above the village like a watchful eye. Cold wind passed through the rocks, whispering secrets. Kyle waited until deep into the night. He didn't use a flashlight this time. He knew the path by heart now. The path to her. He carried food, bandages, and a tool hidden inside his jacket. A plasma cutter, small but powerful. He would not just talk tonight. He would break her chains. But when he reached the back of the wall, something was different. Sira wasn't lying on the ground like before. She was sitting, Her back was straight, her eyes open and glowing, not softly glowing like her skin, burning. Kyle froze. "Sira?" She turned her head slowly. Her face looked stronger, less broken. But there was something in her eyes, something that sent a chill down his spine. "Remember now?" she said in a calm, hollow voice. Kyle stepped closer. "What do you remember?" Her eyes didn't blink. The explosion, the child's scream, the fire, and then the elders. Her chains rattled as she raised her hands. "They injected me with something. I thought it was poison, but it was a lock." Kyle frowned. "A lock?" "A lock on my mind. To make me forget. To make me weak." She looked down at the chain, then up at the stars. "But your help, the food, the healing gel, your voice, it broke the seal. I remember everything now." Kyle felt the air grow heavy. He had seen war veterans like this, eyes filled with memory and fire. "What did they lock away?" he asked. Sira turned her gaze to him, and suddenly she looked like a warrior again. "I was not just a royal protector. I was part of the Flame Guard, an elite force trained to resist lies, poison, and mind control." Kyle's breath caught. "You were a weapon." "No," she said. "I was justice. That's why they feared me." She looked at her hands. "The tech in my blood given to us during the war, it's still alive. That's why they chained me here instead of killing me. They didn't know how long it would take to fully shut me down." Kyle stepped closer. "And now it's waking up." Sira gave a slow nod. "But I am not whole yet. I need time. I need strength." Kyle crouched and opened his bag. "Then let's get these chains off first." As he pulled out the plasma cutter, Sira grabbed his wrist. Her grip was firm. "Kyle," she said softly, "after these chains are broken, I won't be just a prisoner. I'll be a threat again." Kyle met her eyes. "Then let them be afraid." She smiled. A small, tired, but real smile. Only a human would say that. He turned on the cutter. The blue light hummed quietly. One by one, he sliced through the old iron chains. The smell of burned metal filled the air. Sparks flew, but no one came. The last shackle snapped. Her wrist was free. Sira didn't move. Right away. Then, with slow effort, she stood. For the first time in years, she stood tall. Her body shook, but she didn't fall. Kyle watched as her skin glowed brighter under the moon. She stretched her arms, and something shifted beneath her skin, like a faint shimmer of armor trying to awaken. "You need rest," Kyle said. Sira nodded. "Yes, but not here." They moved into the shadows beyond the wall. Kyle helped her walk, but each step she grew stronger. Behind them, the stone wall stood silent, but in the hearts of those sleeping nearby, a storm was coming. Forbidden rescue. The night Sira escaped her chains, the sky cracked with thunder. Storm clouds rolled in, and heavy rain fell over the village, like the world itself was warning what was about to come. Kyle led Sira into the old ruins outside the village, a forgotten watchtower from a war long past. The roof leaked, the walls were broken, but it was hidden and, for now, safe. Sira sat by the stone wall, wrapped in Kyle's old jacket. Her skin steamed in the cold, glowing softly. Her wounds were healing faster now. Whatever lived inside, those tiny machines were awake. Kyle watched her from a distance. He was tired, wet, angry, but something else burned in his chest. He was proud. He had done something no one dared. He broke the law. He broke the chains. He saved her. But they weren't safe yet. "Sira," he said, walking over. "We need a plan. The village will know by sunrise." Sira didn't look at him. She stared at her hands, hands that once protected kings, and now trembled from hunger. "I can't run far," she said. "Not yet." Kyle placed some food in front of her. Then we'll hide. She took a small bite, then looked up. You don't have to stay. You've done enough. I'm not leaving, he said firmly. I started this, I'll finish it. Sierra studied him. You're strange, human. Your kind left long ago. They called this place a failure, but you returned. Kyle shrugged. Not all humans run from broken things. Suddenly, a loud knock echoed in the distance. Kyle jumped up. Voices, torches. The search had begun. They're looking for me, Sierra whispered. No, Kyle said, pulling her to her feet. They're looking for us. He guided her through the back of the ruins. There was a tunnel, barely standing, that led to the canyon. It was old and dangerous, but better than being caught. They moved fast, lightning flashing above them. Kyle helped her walk, but each step she took, she leaned less on him. I remember this place, Sierra said, her voice low. We trained here before the war. They reached the tunnel entrance. Moss covered the stones. Bones lay in the shadows. Kyle looked at her. You sure about this path? She gave a tired smile. If I wasn't, I'd already be dead. They entered the darkness. Behind them, voices grew louder, closer. Someone shouted in the alien tongue. The human helped her. Find them both. Kyle cursed under his breath. I guess I'm a criminal now. Sierra chuckled weakly. Welcome to the club. Inside the tunnel, the ground was slippery. Kyle held onto the cracked walls. Water dripped from above. Old machines blinked, long dead. Then suddenly, a light. Ahead, the tunnel opened into a wide cave. In the center stood something unexpected, an old escape skiff, rusty, abandoned, but intact. Sierra gasped. It's still here. What is it? Kyle asked. A scout ship from my unit. We hid it here in case everything fell apart. Kyle ran to it, brushing off the dust. Can it fly? Sierra placed her hand on the side panel. Her palm glowed. The ship lit up, power returning. It answered her. It remembers me, she said, even if my people forgot. Kyle stared in shock. You can escape now. Sierra looked at him, her expression serious. We can escape. He shook his head. They'll chase you forever. You still want to risk it? Her eyes narrowed. I'm not running to hide. I'm running to show the truth. Kyle understood. This wasn't just rescue anymore. It was rebellion. Hunted by the village, the escape skiff roared to life. Dust flew across the cave. Old metal shook. Faint blue lights lit the dark tunnel walls. Kyle stood near the control panel, staring at the ship in disbelief. It was old, but it worked. He had never seen alien tech respond so fast. But it wasn't just the ship. It was Sierra. She didn't just pilot it, she was bonded to it. Her glowing hand rested against the ship's command plate. Her expression was calm, but her eyes stayed sharp. Alert. Outside, the storm still raged. Then came drums, far away, but getting closer. War drums, Sierra said. They used to welcome warriors. Now, they're for hunting criminals. Kyle peeked out from the tunnel entrance. Torches. Shadows moving. Dozens of them. They're here, he said. Too many. Sierra didn't flinch. We can't launch yet. Engines still charging. Kyle grabbed the small blaster he kept for safety. We'll hold them off. Sierra looked at him. You don't need to die for me. Kyle didn't answer. He took his place by the entrance. Minutes passed. The wind howled louder. Then, a scream. The villagers had found the trail, and they weren't alone. A massive hound beast, metal spikes growing from its back, sniffed the ground and let out a growl. Beside it, the head guard raised a plasma spear. Bring the human alive, the woman dies, he shouted. Sierra stepped forward. Her voice echoed through the stone. You feared me once. Now you should fear me again. She walked slowly into the open. Kyle tried to stop her. Wait, they'll kill you. But Sierra raised her hand. A ripple of blue light pulsed through her body. The ground trembled. The villagers hesitated. Some stepped back. "She still has it," one whispered. "The flame guard power." The head guard snarled. "Lies, she's broken." But then the skiff behind her floated, hovering without support, glowing brighter. Sirah's voice boomed. "You tied me in chains. You left me to starve. But I remember everything now." Lightning cracked the sky behind her. "I remember who I am." Suddenly the hound beast lunged. Kyle fired once, hit the side of the creature, but it didn't stop. Before it could reach Sirah, she moved. Not fast, not strong, sharp. One glowing hand struck the beast's neck. A burst of heat. The creature collapsed, howling in pain. The villagers screamed in fear. The head guard hesitated, then charged, but Kyle was faster. He stepped in, grabbing the guard's arm. They struggled, rolled on the ground. The spear sliced Kyle's shoulder. Then, a blinding blue flash. Sirah raised both hands and a wall of light knocked the guards back. Energy, raw and wild, poured from her body. The others fled. Only the head guard remained, injured and breathing hard. "You were supposed to die," he spat. Sirah stood over him. "You tried to erase me. She didn't kill him. She just turned and walked away." Kyle limped to the ship. His shirt burned. Blood soaked one side. But he smiled. Not bad for someone who couldn't stand 2 days ago. Sirah helped him into the skiff. "You risked everything. Why?" He looked into her eyes. "Because they looked at you and saw a threat. I looked at you and saw a person." The ship lifted into the storm. As they flew into the sky, the village shrank below. Sirah stared down at the place that hurt her for so long. "I don't want revenge," she said. Kyle nodded. "What do you want?" She whispered. "Justice." And for the first time in years, the flames in her eyes burned bright again. The weapon. In her blood high above the storm clouds, the stolen skiff soared through the sky. Lightning flashed beneath them. Sirah sat in the pilot's seat, eyes focused, hands steady. Her skin still glowed faintly. Her breathing was stronger now, but something inside her was changing. Kyle leaned against the wall of the ship, clutching his bandaged shoulder. "You okay?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said quietly, "Something is waking up inside me." Kyle sat up. "What do you mean?" Sirah opened a panel on her arm. Beneath her blue skin, small silver lines pulsed, like veins made of light. "The nanotech. I was part of a project long ago, something the council buried." Kyle's eyes narrowed. "A weapon?" "No," she said softly. "Not at first." She stood and walked toward the back of the ship, where a small scanner lay unused for years. She placed her hand on it. The machine blinked to life. A hologram appeared. It showed her body, but not as flesh and bone. It showed a system of circuits, energy, and glowing code. She pointed at a shape in her chest. "This is the Ember Core. They told us it would help us survive in war, regenerate faster, think faster. But it was more than that." Kyle watched as the scanner zoomed in. "The Ember Core wasn't made by our people," Sirah said. "It was taken, found in an old ruin, left by something ancient." Kyle's eyes widened. "Alien tech inside an alien?" Sirah nodded. "And it changed me. It gave me memory locks, buried truths. But your help, your kindness, it woke the core." Kyle stood beside her. "So what are you now?" She looked at him. "I don't know." Silence filled the ship. Then the scanner flashed red. Power surge detected. Full activation sequence started. Sirah's body tensed. She fell to her knees, breathing hard. "Sirah," Kyle shouted, catching her. "I'm fine," she gasped. "It's unlocking more data, but it hurts." She clutched her head. Kyle didn't know what to do. He held her hand tightly, hoping the storm inside her would pass. Then, the lights dimmed, and a new voice spoke. Not Sirah's, not the ship's. It came from inside her. EMBR, core active, directive, restore balance, locate origin, protect host. Sierra's eyes opened. They glowed bright orange now, like fire. She stood slowly. Her body shimmered with new light. I see everything now, she whispered. The truth, the lies. The war wasn't about peace, it was about control. Kyle helped her sit. What now? We have to reach the ruins, she said. Where they found this core, there's more buried there. Answers. Maybe even others like me. Kyle set the ship's path, but as the skiff turned, a warning alarm screamed, an enemy signal. On the screen, a larger warship appeared, bearing the symbol of the Council. They found us, Kyle said. Sierra stood tall. Then let them come. Her voice was calm, and her blood, once poisoned by fear, now flowed with fire. One human stood with her. The enemy warship blocked the sky like a black moon. Sierra and Kyle stared at it from the cockpit of the skiff. It was massive, 20 times their size, armed with cannons, drones, and a dozen fighters already launching into space. They want you dead, Kyle said. No, Sierra replied. They want me erased. Her voice was steady, but something deeper echoed in it now, like a second voice beneath her own. The ember core inside her had fully awakened. The control screen flickered. The enemy ship sent out a broadcast. This is Council Command. You are carrying stolen technology and a rogue bioweapon. Surrender immediately. The human will be spared. Kyle scoffed. Generous offer, Sierra smiled. They're afraid. She pressed her glowing palm to the console. The skiff lit up brighter, its engine humming with energy never designed for it. The ancient ship responded to her like it was part of her body. Kyle turned to her. We can still run. She looked at him. If I run, others will be hunted next. It ends now. Kyle nodded. Then let's fight. Suddenly, the enemy ship fired a warning shot. The shockwave hit them hard. Systems blinked and sparked. Sierra didn't flinch. She stood at the center of the cockpit and lifted both hands. The ember core responded. Glowing threads of energy flowed from her fingertips into the ship. The walls pulsed. A symbol, one older than both their races, appeared above them. Then, the skiff changed. Panels shifted. Wings unfolded. Energy shields appeared. The ship was no longer a broken relic. It was reborn. Kyle took the pilot seat. I'm guessing you upgraded everything? Sierra sat beside him. I didn't. It remembered what it was. The enemy launched drones. 20. 30. They swarmed toward them. Kyle flew into the center of them. Sierra raised one hand. Light burst from the ship like a wave, shorting 3 drones instantly. Kyle swerved through the rest. More blasts. More heat. The cockpit rattled, but Kyle smiled, because she was with him. Down below, in the village, people watched the battle in the sky. Some hid, some prayed. Others stood frozen as the girl they chained, punished and left to die now, fought the sky itself. And beside her stood a human. Back in the skiff, the final moment came. The enemy ship locked onto them. Missile incoming, the computer said. Kyle looked at Sierra. Any last moves? Sierra stood, eyes glowing like stars. I am not a weapon, she whispered. I am the warning. She pressed her hands to the floor of the ship. A shockwave exploded outward, silent, blue, beautiful. The missile froze midair, turned, and shot back toward its sender. The enemy warship lit up like a dying star. Kyle and Sierra's skiff hovered, untouched in the quiet aftermath. No more missiles, no more drones. Just silence. Hours later, they landed far from the village. Sierra stepped onto the ground, taller, stronger, no longer afraid. Kyle walked beside her. You're free now, he said. She turned. No, Kyle, I'm more than free. She reached out and took his hand. I was left to die, but one human didn't walk away. One man broke the chain, and because of that, I'm alive. Kyle smiled. So what now? Syrah looked at the stars. Now, we find the others like me. And if we don't? She looked into his eyes. Then, we build something new, something better. Together they walked into the unknown, and the galaxy would never forget the human who stood with the girl everyone else abandoned.